Oh, can everybody see my screen? Yep. Oops. Cool. Right, so if we flick over to here and say hello, Montreal. Cool to be here. Thank you for having me. So this is a cool new thing that I've been trying to do, which is build a project from scratch to deployment, i.e. live and visible to other people, in 30 minutes. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but it's always quite fun. So without further ado, I'll kind of introduce myself. I'm Ed. I'm a senior AI engineer at Lavanda, Elixir enthusiast since 2021, I believe, and a kind of wannabe entrepreneur, which both tie in quite nicely because the whole way I came to this way of developing things, or to try this way of developing things, is that I started my own business about 10 years ago now, while I was still at uni, and I had grand visions of building all these cool apps and ideas. And every year since, I've tried desperately to kind of work on my side projects, and I haven't been able to launch things. So in my desperate search for ways of developing faster, I came across Elixir and then Livebook, and then this kind of Microhack format, which I'm using to help me build things faster. So logistics wise, we are going to work on our own Elixir instance, our own Livebook instance here, which is password protected. So I'm just going to copy that and drop it in the chat. There we go. Cleaver, if you can pin that so other people can see it if they join late. And I will open that here. And we can create a new notebook, and we can call it Elixir Montreal Microhack. And the cool thing about this is that we actually have a deployment environment. In fact, this is exactly where I'm running these slides from, speedrun.dev. So when we've built our app, we will have a not quite one click, but near enough deployment to speedrun.dev. And final thing, this machine will self-destruct in 30 minutes. I've got a script which I'm going to kick off once everybody's joined in. And we have exactly half an hour to build something. If we remember and are good enough to deploy it to speedrun before the self-destruct, then we have something to show for our work. If not, then we don't. So it should be quite fun. By the way, this is a collaborative exercise, so please feel free to join in, turn on your mic, and hack along. Right, here we go. 1,800 seconds. Let's see what we make of them. So hopefully everybody can join here, and I'm going to make a start. Now, one of the demos that I like to do for this is a very simple multiplayer tug-of-war app. You don't see the Livebook. Can you, if I put this in the message, can you access that? You will need to enter the password, which is elixir-mtl-microhack. Awesome, cool, right. Okay, so as I was saying, what we're going to build is a very simple multiplayer game, which we should hopefully be able to deploy and all play together by the end of the 30 minutes. If somebody is keeping time, I would be very grateful. But without further ado, I'm going to just come out of there and install a couple of quick packages. We're going to use Keynote for this. If anybody's familiar with Livebook development, it's a way of getting rich widgets, and we're going to use Keynote Progress Bar. And I've got a fixed version of Keynote Progress Bar on here, which is this branch. Just updates the version. I've got PR open, so hopefully that will update soon. But we have HTTPS. Yeah. Now let's. This is going to be when I find out that I can't type anymore. So let's see if that works. Yes, it does. Cool. Awesome. Right. So we've got our dependencies installed. And basically what I've installed is a Keynote progress bar, which we can instantiate like this. And we can say, well, can just instantiate it. And that's a very simple project progress bar. We can give it a value, say 5, and we can give it a max, say 10. And then we've got the bar. We can also then update it. So we can do Keynote progress bar dot increment, for example. We need to save the bar here. There we go. And it keeps going, so on and so forth. Now, to me, I look at that, I squint a little bit, and it almost looks like a tug of war. So that's what we're going to build. So let's clean that up. We're going to start with a Keynote dot start child, and we're just going to call our module tug of war. Run it. Obviously, this is going to error because we haven't defined our module. So we define our module tug of war. Do. Now we've got a different error because it doesn't have a child spec. So we'll use gen server. And a different error, we define our start link. Ignore the parameter, we don't care about that. And we will use gen server dot start link. We'll start this module and we will give it an empty map. And that should be all right. Now it's got a start link and default init. So we just override the init. We will have our state here. It will return a tuple of OK, comma, state. And this is important when working with Keynote. Some of the UI elements from Keynote are gen server based, so you can't initialize them inside the init function. Otherwise, you're going to end up in a loop and everything will hang. So we use the special form of continue. And we will need to define a handler. There we go. So it's complaining that we haven't got handle, so we def handle continue. We ignore the first parameter and then use our state, and we will return no reply state. And in here, what we can do is we can, so once we do that, we have basically this is all our boilerplate. And what we can do is we can build our bar, as we said before, and we can say Keynote progress bar new. We can, let's set a module attribute here. We'll call it at max and say we go up to 10 for now. And we say max is at max. And we can say we probably want a value. So we can define that actually in this state here. So value is at max over, in fact, let's define an initial value. Because we will want to use it elsewhere as well when we reset the game. So we'll just do at max. We'll do div so that we get integer division and divided by 2. So that should start the bar halfway through, and we'll do at initial value. So we do value is state.value. Cool. Okay, so we have the bar, but we haven't rendered it. So what we can do is we can pipe it into keynote.render. Because it's not the last output of the cell, it won't automatically render. So we have to do that manually. But there we go. We have our bar that is rendered. Now I look at that a little bit and I think, well, if we make it full width, then it kind of starts looking like a bit of rope. So I'm going to do that. We can say width 100%, and also say height 100%. And there we go. That makes it a bit wider and a bit bigger, which then allows us to make some more progress. Now I'd like to put some buttons either side of it, and one button will, the left one will decrement the value of the bar, and then we'll have the bar in the middle, and then the next one will increment, and then that needs to be a list rather than a tuple. It would really help if I could type right about now, but apparently not so. And we can pipe that into keynote.layout. We've got some basic layout tools. We'll make a grid layout. And we do need to move this render now. There we go. So we have increment, decrement. Now, if we make the grid layout, we can tell it how many columns we have. So we can say 3 columns, that puts it all on the same line. And then in fact, there's a cool thing we can do. We can set the ratio of the columns. So we do 1, 10, 1. And that gets us a bit closer to where we need to be. Now we just need to make those into buttons. So we can do def fp create button, and we'll take a tag, and we will do keynote.control.button. These are just going to be labeled pull. We could take an argument for, yeah, don't care. They're all going to have the same label for now. And we need to tap that into and control.subscribe. And we will say give it the tag, and that will subscribe us to events from the button. So we'll just pipe that into enum.map and create button /1. Let's see, how are we looking? Mismatch delimiter. Yeah, I think it's over here, isn't it? Yeah, and I always forget this when using tap. There we go. Right. Okay, I've turned the bar into, yeah, that's fine. I can do that. We need a couple of clauses. So bar needs to return unchanged, and then up here we will do tag when is atom tag pipe into create. It's not pipe to Dart. Create button, and we call it tag. There we go. That's a bit more like it. Right. So now we have some buttons. We have, this is basically our user interface more or less done here. We probably want some announcement stuff later, but you can see these try to send events. We know the shape of the events. So we just need some handle infos. And in fact, we can do something quite cool. So def handle info, and we will get a tuple with the operation and some stuff we don't care about, and then we get our state do. And what we can do is we need to return a tuple of no reply, and then our state, which we can update. And what we're going to update, the value, and the value we can update by with the return value from applying the function Kino progress bar. Because Kino progress bar has increment and decrement functions, we can just apply the op on the module directly, and we'll supply state.bar as the parameter to those, and they will return the new value once they updated it. For that to work, though, we need to make sure that bar actually lives in our state. So we can do that. Bar is bar. And I just want to make sure here that I've got bar is now. This isn't the nicest way of doing it. I probably should have merged some apps, but that should do the trick for us. So with a bit of luck, when I click this, the bar should move to the left. And it does. Cool. When I click this, the bar moves to the right. Now, I think that is almost a good spot for us to deploy. So we're going to call it Elixir MTL. We'll just call it that. We will use the same password we used before, which was Elixir MTL Microhack. And we will only render rich outputs and do zero downtime deployment. So we've got our settings there, and now we can deploy with Livebook Teams to speedrun.dev. Deploy. There we go. It's deployed. There we go, it has. Yes, that is the kind of pace that I desperately need in my life. So I think it was Elixir MTL Microhack. Cool. Right. So if everybody wants to hop onto that, oh, there we go. We've got a few people on, and we're already playing tug of war. How fast can you tap? Yeah, this is the core of it. Now you'll notice that if you do manage to win or get to zero, nothing happens. So I think the next thing we should be having a look at is adding some handling for win states and things like that. Now, I think the best way to do this, and I've been debating on that. Please feel free to get involved. What I would probably do is pattern match on the value and the state. And if the value is about to, actually now after I've updated the state, I'll pass it into a new judge function, and then we can do stuff with that. So we can do judge, and we'll do def judge, and we will get a state, which is going to be value. And we'll put our state over there. And what do we want to do? In fact, we want to say if value is 0, then we can do something like dot. Now, this isn't the right way to do it because we want this to update, but it's a start. So we can put in a markdown element and say, well, we know that if it's 0, then the left side wins. So left wins. And we can do the same for the right if it's at max. And we can say right wins. And then we probably want to reset the state. And in fact, these two functions look very similar, so we can probably extract some stuff out of there. But let's do state update value initial value. And let's just copy that. Right, let's see how that's working. I broke something. No function matching judge. Okay, yeah, because I need a default function there. Default clause. So basically we do nothing, right? In that case, say do state, we'll just return the state. We don't care because it doesn't match one of those two. And it would be good if I actually rendered my outputs. That would help. Oh. Left wins and right wins. Did the state not reset though? Yeah, that should have reset the start and the state. Why did it not? Can anyone see what I'm doing wrong here?
Looks right to me.
Let's pipeline to io.inspect. Oh. Yeah, okay. So I am changing the value in the state, but that is independent of the state of the bar because the bar is its own component. So what I actually need to do is we can do Kino progress bar dot update and we pass state dot bar and then the initial value. And basically we do the same down here. There we go. Right. So now we announce winners and we reset and we can play it to our heart's content. So if I get rid of this, oh, I probably should save the file actually. Did I not save it? Oh, right.
12 minutes left. Do you need to retype it?
Yeah, we could probably do it again in 12 minutes, right? Let's redeploy that. New version. Open it. Oh. Yeah, this is basically it, really. I mean, from here on, we do whatever we want. We can, for example, use a frame to render these so that they can disappear. We can refresh them, do whatever we want. But yeah, this is basically the core of the demo. It tends to take a little bit longer if it's truly collaborative because it's quite a unique experience, all writing in the same file at the same time. It takes a bit of coordination, but essentially in about 20 minutes, give or take, we've got a real-time collaborative game thing built and deployed. So at this point, I'm happy to leave it here, go to questions, or if somebody's got ideas for things they would like to try to do with this, we've still got about 10 minutes, I believe, Cleaver.